Hi, welcome to the Scientist Sage Sangha. I'm Nancy Anderson Dolan from Wise Heart Wellness. And tonight we are talking about glimmers. And this is I love this topic. I don't know why I haven't got to it earlier, but actually you'll notice the Pride background, and it is the last week of Pride that we're going to have a day. And so I want to get that in as well because Pride Week flags and discussions and people's events, that was a glimmer thing for me this week. And the idea about glimmer is that it's like the opposite of a trigger. And so if people have things that trigger them, like old events that they have had that get triggered by a noise or some people, things like that, that make them not feel good. And literally, a glimmer is the same kind of thing, only with the opposite effect. And so it's something that catches your eye and makes you just feel really good. Like, say, the opposite of a trigger. So a glimmer brings you to this sort of anchored state where you feel cued by something outside you that really settles you down and makes you kind of happy, and you feel sort of encouraged, almost is the way people describe it. And they have a little more energy and a little more hope. And you get this kind of empathic response. You're more ready to connect with people. Like the opposite with when you get triggered, you move away from connection with people. But with a glimmer, you're like, oh, look at all of us sharing this, parade, or this nice weather, or things like that. There is this feeling, sort of feeling validated, like, oh, I'm alive. And that feeling is really like, oh, I am part of everything. That's why the empathy response there. And literally the vagal system goes into a state that literally opens up to social connectivity. When you get triggered, it goes the other way and you pull away from social connectivity. And we feel comfortable, and comfortable sort of more being ourselves, and we're open. We can learn better because our system is opening up like this instead of going like this in a trigger. And so we explore different things and we take different activities in, things like that. So there's this expansion in that sort of learning mode, and it releases old built up cortisol, and it improves our return to a calmer state. Okay. So, like when a duck gets into a fight with another duck on the water and then they're done, a duck shakes it all off like that. And he goes looking around and he sees food right away and he eats it and he swims along with his little duck friends. But we really have trouble making that big switch from that intensity and being sort of worried about things. And that can even be a normal way of going through life. Like, am I going to get what need to get done today? And, that sort of thing. But this opens us back to the state of calmness and inclusion. And so we go, oh, yeah, okay, life is going to be okay, even if I don't get everything done on my list. And so these moments of glimmers, it's really, really important, particularly if you have a lot of triggers, that you cultivate glimmers. And even if you don't have a whole lot of triggers, this can be a really great way of sort of charging up your life, because we can feel anxious, especially in this post-pandemic time where people's anxiety is at a higher resting state. We need to train ourselves back into that open, relaxed, connective state. And we can do that with glimmers. And so it's not, they've been there all the time, but when we get in that distressed state, a little more anxious, a little more busy, we miss them. We just don't connect, see them. So it's kind of a type of mindfulness as well, glimmer mindfulness. And they literally are everywhere. So it might be something simple as, your dog putting its head on your arm, or somebody just smiling and saying good morning, passing you, getting on and off an elevator, or little things like that. They're little micro moments. So it isn't like this wonderful, I got to get away on a holiday and relax kind of thing. But we can gather these up, and they're at least as powerful as going away on a holiday. And so, how to pay attention to them? It really, it's a body experience, it's a mind experience, and it's an emotional experience. And so when we might, we might see something on Facebook that, oh, just makes us feel like, oh, that's, maybe it's a silly thing, or maybe it's a lovely thing. But there's that moment. And if we can stop and savor those moments and remember what the glimmers are for us, we can actually stack our lives that way. Now, I recommend everybody curate their social media to be full of glimmers and few triggers. And so literally it would be that you go to sites where they have inspiring quotations or funny cat videos, whatever your glimmers are. And then literally they come in automatically. And all you have to do is acknowledge them. Um, Even around your house, at this moment in the room that I am in, I have some helium balloons that are floating on my ceiling, and they are from my birthday. That was some time ago, but they give me that glimmer feeling. So they'll just be floating there until they come down to the floor and gotta go. Because I look at that and I remember gathering with friends and things like that, and the fact that balloons have triggered me ever since I was a little girl to feel that glimmer moment, like something's kind of magical in the universe. And, I know the physics of balloons now, but they still remind me of that childhood memory of magic. So it, don't judge. Don't judge me. Don't judge your glimmers. Whatever ones do it for you. It could be little bananas cut up into little slices that makes you feel that feeling. So really open up your mind to what they might be. Okay. So you might look through your past where things were, comforting to you, or they made you happy just because they made you happy. Not the ones that are, intricate to, like, if you have to win a game, that doesn't count as a glimmer because it's not that simple moment. It's something you have to work really hard. So we're not looking for things you're going to work hard for to feel good. That's great on its own, but that's not what we're talking about. This whole idea was developed by a mental health neuroscientist because of what happens in your brain when you are surrounded by these little glimmers. And it really was that it affects your nervous system as well. And that's why the working for it and, getting stressed about it to make it happen sort of dims the glim. So we want to pay attention to what things, just in those little moments, itsy bitsy kind of mood shifts. And it literally, we can set them up. So if you want to grow glimmers, you literally start introducing them. And they might be little things like a flower, having fresh flowers in your house, and just even one flower. The little flowers that are representative of the um, bug cars, Volkswagens, they often have a nice sort of big daisy, things like that. And those will give you that moment. So that there's beautiful things like when I do the dishes in my house and I look into my backyard, I have big, big trees. And so I can't see beyond those trees even. So it's like my little private space. And I always get that lovely little glimmer feeling of feeling safe and, nature's gift to me. I didn't do anything. I didn't even plant those trees. They were here when I got here. It's just this free little gift from nature that lights me up. And the idea that um, it's like a smidgen of joy. So it might be something that you really enjoy that you don't have time to do, things like that. But maybe you have a picture of it. Maybe you have a picture of, a hug with a friend. Maybe you have a picture of putting your feet in the water at the beach. Looking at those pictures, because our body takes those messages and looks for something to match it, it will go back to the memory. And if it was that little glimmer moment, it lights it up again. And so you may have a whole bunch in there that you don't know anything about right now. So I hope that you have a good time, because I tell people when I'm done here, go and make that glimmer list. And it really, and just notice moment to moment, what does it for you? And when you give that instruction to your brain to look for a glimmer, you'd be surprised how many it finds, because your brain actually likes to be happy. Your brain doesn't like to look for the negative things, but that's what it defaults to. If we don't give our brain a task, it goes to the default mode network and looks for negative possible things that are threats. So give it a glimmer goal and it will start to bring better thoughts to you. Literally, the feeling of even a t-shirt that's very, very soft. I was talking about a dress that I'm going to wear to an event, and it's like just so comfortable. It gives that to me. I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. And those little things, blankets that you have on your bed, I encourage people to go through your house room by room and see where you can introduce little glimmer things. And again, this isn't that we want you to make your house look like, Home and Garden magazine thing. It is little things that do it for you. It might be a little dog toy that makes you laugh, and so you put it on the counter. It might be an interesting play of light on a wall. The Italians call the play of sunshine on the water Gibbigiana. And it's just this wonderful little thing. And it's the feeling that we get when we get that. And you might look over frequently to your children or your animals or your spouse and see what it gives you. If it's not giving you the glimmer thing, you might want to work on the perspective of those things. But I want to just stop here, I think, and really just take a minute for you to think about those glimmer things and literally imagine a walk. We're going to close our eyes and meditate a little bit for a minute. And I'm going to take you on a walk. And where you walk is going to be up to you, to where your glimmer things exist. And as we go through them, you can sort of get a little idea of if this thing has that impact on your body. And so, first of all, as you relax, I want you to take a little body scan and see how you feel. And just notice if you got some tension somewhere, or if you're worried about something. So it's not that you have to be completely relaxed, because that's part of the glimmer goodness that's going to come. So just notice. And always, always, I say, when you're doing any kind of contemplation or meditation, get comfortable. And whatever that means for you, it might be sitting up in a chair, it might be putting your feet up, but listen to your body as you go along. Because when you respond to your body's request for a little more comfort, that's a glimmer to your body. So pay attention. You might want to wiggle around a little bit, take a shirt off, put a sweater on, whatever your body likes. And then just imagine that you're just sort of opening up and paying attention to those parts of your body where you feel joy, where you feel stress. Lots of us, we literally have a response in our face. Most of us have a response in our heart. Then, of course, there's lots of gut feelings too. So just remember just today. And was there something that brought that feeling of unexpected joy or comfort, or that sort of soothing happiness? I went into a library today, and libraries make me very happy. So you might be seeing something out in nature or feeling something. You may have something that's not visual at all. It might be holding someone's hand or holding a baby. Or unexpectedly laughing out loud at something that was just funny. And now I want you to go someplace that feels really comfortable, comforting to you. It might be your home, it might be a place of worship, it might be a friend's home, it might be a beach somewhere. Just thinking about natural hot springs always brings that feeling into my body. And maybe looking up at the stars or down from a mountain. Nature often inspires us. It literally gives our body that feeling of belonging and openness and joy. And now move towards things that are more comforting. As soon as I put my kettle on to make tea, my body goes, oh, yes. You may have a particular chair in your home, a meal that you make, or a memory of something someone was gifting you with. We use food often to comfort each other, and we use it to celebrate. So often we have those glimmer memories tied to things like that. But I encourage you to make sure they're kind of neat and tidy, that they don't trigger other things as well, because our society is a little strange about food too. But often things like baking bread triggers positive memories for people. So you sift through these explorations and find out the things that are reliable and clear. And they may come from any age at all. I remember as a baby laying beside our big dog, and my body just has a joy that is before speech. The feeling of swinging on a swing as an older child felt so good to me. And things like music, it weaves its way into our lives in so many ways, and definitely has the power to have that glimmer effect on our whole system. And it may not even be a particular piece of music. It might have been the gathering you were at when you heard that. It might be something you learned or something your mother sang to you. Music has a very big impact on our bodies. It gets right in there. Okay, so gather up your glimmers and keep them close to you. It's a wonderful, valuable resource, one that you can build from every day. So thank you for joining us. And I would always love to hear about the experience with this. You can always email me at scientistsage@gmail.com. And if you would like to get the emails that go out with these YouTubes, you can email me at that same scientistsage@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And for the people with me live, we'll have an interesting discussion about what you found. I am with you. You are with me. Blessed be. Good night.